Hi everybody, ready for the next art journal page? I hope you are. And this one is really cool. I like it and very easy to do. Welcome to my channel. It's Asia Marquet here, Lemon Creation. Once again, I am working on my weird landscape format art journal page. And as I mentioned in previous videos with this format, I am gonna put everything together, so I'm gonna really create an art journal. And I am adding now a heavy white gesso from Liquitex. I use a craft knife to do it because I don't want to cover all the page. I learned that when I'm working with, for example, Lindy sprays, if I cover pieces of paper with gesso, then when I spray it later, where I have a gesso, the color is completely different than on the surface which is not covered. In case of acrylics, it's not really the case. But then again, by putting gesso with the craft knife, I'm creating layers. So the paper is not smooth anymore. There are some small layers which are well visible, you know, when you actually hold the paper in your hand and you can touch it, you can see it. Right now I'm applying paper Artsy chalk acrylics, and I am doing acrylic wash. So I added a little bit of water on the paper. You don't have to do it, but I also dilute the paint with the water. So that's called acrylic wash, and I'm dabbing off the excess of water or paint from the paper before drying it with the heat gun. Of course, as you can see, my new desk setup is not very great because the cable is just on my way all the time. I have to change it, but it's just I don't really have time to be bothered with the desk setup because there's so many things to do around the house already. And when the first layer is dry, I didn't have to really wait for it to dry, you know, but you get kind of different effects when the layers are dry in between. I'm adding the second chalk acrylics, and I'm doing the same. And because I already create a layer with gesso, it's much easier to do this kind of distress effect with the craft knife. It's quite hard still, and I'm not mastering it very well because, you know, you have to be careful not to put too much paint on the craft knife, even though it's a very small knife. But you know, if you put too much, you're gonna get big stains, which are actually well, it could be nice also, why not? I prefer actually when you can see the paint, the other colors visible underneath the last layer of paint. So I kind of, you know, I don't know, can I say I butter the page with the color? I don't think you can, but that's more or less how I feel I do. And very quickly I dry it off. And now time for stamping. I use a stamping platform because I wanted to have clear images, and also because I am using my stamps. And I haven't used my stamps for a long time. I have to admit there are some stamps which I use only like maybe once or twice, and they are still kind of sticky. They are very good quality, they are not breaking over time or not getting yellow, but the problem is with a new stamp, you may have this kind of stickiness to them. So that's why I prefer to use stamping platform. Just in case the impression is not very clear, you know, I can restamp it once again. I use two sets of my stamp, Construction Once Upon a Time. I'm placing them on the paper, then of course I'm gonna adhere them to the stamping platform and inked away. And you're gonna see I made a, well, it's not a mistake, but I use archival ink, which is ink I have been using for a long time, and it actually has not too much ink left. So after the first stamping, I had almost no image visible. And I also, you know, that's also one of the tricks I learned not that long ago, that I think from Jennifer Maguire, I'm not even sure, that you can use the brayer to make the impression like even and stronger. But as you can see now, I am using my Stazon, and I also need to re-ink it because I don't usually change very often my my inks. I rather ring them, but that's what's happened, you know, if they are not well inked, I'm having problem with the stamping. And also in my stamping platform, as you can see, I have a craft foam underneath the black ink, which moves. And this is also done on purpose because I think it's stamping better, you know, but maybe I have to actually try to take it off and try without it. But look guys, once I actually inked the Stazon, I got a very nice impression. So also for those of you who are asking me sometimes how to use the stamps, that's the way to use to do. You use good ink, you use stamping platform, and if you use permanent ink on the new stamps, it's better to actually leave it on the stamps, so that's taking away the stickiness instead of just cleaning the stamps. But that you can do only with the permanent ink, of course, because distress, for example, well, you always have to clean them. And the rest, the small elements, I'm gonna actually leave them or rather stamp them with the acrylic blocks. Look, they are stamping perfectly once I actually recharged my ink. And this is the way I'm building once again my background. I'm missing words, it's been a long time. I'm doing now videos once a week and I'm so busy. It's getting crazy, I have no idea where the time goes. I wanted to put this crane, I think it's called, but it actually it was not the good way around. It was not facing good way though, so I decided I'm gonna skip this element. And as quite often happens in my art journal pages, I use a lot of numbers, a lot of writings, a lot of industrial elements. But as I said, I haven't used my stamps for some time already. And I have for now only 4 sets, but you know, if you want to check them out, please have a look in my online shop. I'm gonna give you, as always, link below the video. And this is all basically for building my background, just stamping away as much as I can to fill it up. I'm sorry, I'm tiny bit off the camera. Once again, you know, when I create a project, I don't really have tendency to look into the camera that often. I am making myself to do that because I know that quite often I can be a little bit off screen, which is not the, you know, the way to do it, but it's just when I do stuff, I concentrate really on the art journal page. And I've noticed that when I do things not for the videos, I am actually more relaxed and things go smoother and everything is cool, because I don't have to check every so often if I am well in the middle of the screen and all of that. And next step, I'm not sure if you're gonna know what I'm gonna do. Of course, I'm gonna do splatter. So for that, I'm using again chalk acrylics from Paper Artsy, and I diluted a little with water. I'm not happy with this brush, so I'm gonna change it for a little bit bigger, because there is a trick I really love, and it works, as far as I know, only on gesso or absorbent ground, and I learned it from DDK-tron, and I absolutely love it. So because my page is not completely covered with gesso, it's gonna work in some places and it's not gonna work in others. And I already shared this trick with you in my previous videos, but it's been a long time, and so I'm coming back to it. And because I use gesso, I said to myself, that doesn't happen often, I have to you know, take advantage. And so basically you put the big splashes of paint on the gesso and you dry them very quickly, but you dry them to the point when you can still see that the paint is wet in the middle of the splatter, in the middle of the dots. And I try to do it with the tissue which was wet, but just normal paper tissue. It doesn't work. I try not to use baby wipes because they are not good for the environment. but I still have some, so I actually came back to the baby wipe, and it's working the best with baby wipe. And basically what you do, you actually remove the middle of the splatter, and like that you get you know, just the contour of the circle. And as you've seen maybe just a second ago on the top, I had no gesso, and because of that, two of the I make kind of smudges with the paint, because in the places when there is no gesso, this technique doesn't work. So it has to really be only on gesso, and like that you remove the middle part of the paint, and then you're gonna stay just with the nice circle. And this is very nice because the splatter is irregular, so if you were to draw a circle, it would be more regular. But look at that, yes, you can see it now. You see the middle one and the one just above, which got a little smudged. I will fix it, the smudge, it's not a problem, you know me and the stress and the smudges, all works fine, so don't worry about that. But I find this technique is very nice, and the irregularity of the splatter makes it even nicer. So now for fixing, you know, this splatter which didn't work because it was not on the gessoed part of the paper, I'm using all Stabilo pen or Stabilo pen, and kind of, you know, watering it with water. And making, you know, these light gray areas like that, you know, the circle which made the smudge is kind of now a necessary part of the design. So, you know, you can change things, you can arrange them to your liking, and yes, just don't throw it to the bin straight away. And for my focal point, I'm using this nice, cool looking girl. I'm gluing it just with the, how is it called? Nuvo Adhesive Deluxe. And I'm making a little bit of contours again with the Stabilo All pencil, and a little bit of water. So like that, you know, I have, the lines are not too harsh. And of course I have to place her well on the ground. So once again, a little bit of pencil, a little bit of water. And I am gonna add, of course, something to finish the page off, some kind of words. But before, I have to dry the pencil quickly. And because I didn't add any archival ink to ink the edges, and because I find them a little bit too white, I'm using my Unipin fine liner, which is also permanent, to kind of add the borders. Once again, borders which are well distressed, not really, how would you call it, not really properly done, in a way that I don't use a ruler at all. You know, I like the handwriting aspect to it. And for the wordings, I used actually a piece of haiku from some long gone Japanese artists. I kind of like it because I thought with the splatter it maybe reminds a little bit of rain, so you're gonna see it in a moment what it says. So basically it's 3 lines, a poem, Japanese poem, and yeah, I've used so much of my words that I said I have to change it, and that's what I'm doing. I just printed out on the normal printer paper, and then I just put it on the mixed media paper to make it more sturdy, so you know the paint doesn't go through it, you know, you don't see the paint, and also because the page is not very even, so like that it gives the sturdiness which is necessary. And that's the haiku. So it says, "It's drizzling, here I am, still alive." And I kind of like it because the girl has an attitude, and the splatter reminds me a little bit of rain, and anyway, it's my interpretation, so you know. Sorry for the shaky camera. I think I was pressing too hard on the page. I did the small borders around the words, and that would be it for this page. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna have soon a new video with the image transfer with ink printed images, so check that out. I'm sending you big hugs and see you in my next video. Thank you so much for subscribing. Bye bye. you.